Well, hello everyone, welcome. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame, and welcome back to the Ivalice raids. Hooray! Sorry, I have a lot of those fireworks on me right now. Anyway, we're going to get back to doing raids because there's a lot of people waiting for us to go do raids, and I'm excited to do raids. So let's talk to you again and get ourselves back on the cool skyboat. Hang on, did I try your name before? Lena Murilla. That's not so bad. Murilla appears to have been awaiting your arrival for quite some time. I'm sorry I had to end the episode. It was long. Derman, where in the world have you been? Did you not receive Alma's summons? Principal Lexentale's research into the aura site may finally have borne fruit. We must hurry to the Prima Vista before they embark on some grand and perilous adventure without us. Oh yeah, man, they'd die. They'd die so fast, we should go. Hold the skyboat! Wait for me! In her message, Alma mentioned a guest from Sharlayan. Someone your companion Sid Garland believe might be able to assist the principal's research. An archetype, I think is the term she used. Huh. Well, if you would follow me to the shuttle, good sir. Yes. Sorry to keep you waiting. Derman, Lady Murilla, thank you for answering my summons. Master Garland was kind enough to send for an Archon from Sharlayan, and I thought it only right that you be present to hear her findings. Who'd you guys get? To be frank, summoning Mikoto was more Ystola's idea. Oh, I simply came along to see what light she could shed on this mystery. You're not someone we've met yet. Hello. I am Mikoto of House Jinba. A Doman, though my years in Sharlayan have made me a stranger here. You must be Derman Dirami, fabled liberator of men, slayer of false gods, warrior of light. I thought you'd be taller. That's fair, I get that a lot. Let us speak of the crystal. Go on. The Otius, one of but many Auracite shards that aided noble Delita's rise to regent. My apologies. The Otius is no ordinary crystal, even discounting its obvious historical importance. The specimen is more than a simple manifestation of elementally aspected energies. It is rather an ethereal lodestone whose facilitation of both the absorption and transmission of distinct frequency NRR-type harmonic vibrations has been observed to promote ethereal amplification. The resultant neuroharmonic disturbance allows for a highly unique emittance of CPRS waves that, instead of radiating outward with a determinate factor of dispersal, instead resonate inward at a frequency so labored my estimates place the rate of VRT decay at upwards of several centuries. Though I must admit I lack sufficient variates to complete a truly comprehensive graphical assessment. While that explanation may elicit admiring nods from your professors at the Academy, it'll earn you only blank looks here. Take a deep breath and try again, this time in a language those of us without the echo might comprehend. My apologies. I merely thought... Apologies will see us no nearer to an answer. A simpler explanation will. Simpler, right. Ether is not only the building block of all things material, but those immaterial as well. Thoughts, memories, feelings, one's very will are all understood to be ethereal phenomena, and can be measured as such. Unlike most crystals, which can only emit elemental energies, Auracite is tuned not only to absorb ether, but ether specific to the immaterial. That ether is then stored and multiplied within its crystalline confines until external stimuli precipitate release. Try again. Under appropriate conditions, a strong will or desire can become imprinted upon the orocyte and stored until fomentation, at which time the desire becomes manifest. Fomentation. What my studious young friend is trying to say is that the Otius takes one's deepest fantasies and makes them reality. Ah, yes, that is simpler. You may choose to think of it as a process akin to that of summoning a primal. There being one marked difference. Primal summoning requires a supplemental energy source, such as a horde of elementally charged crystals. Orocyte, on the other hand, has the capacity to serve as its own source of power. That seems bad, right? Seems bad? We know from the Durai papers that Argath was never king of Ivalice. He was slain in battle during the War of the Lions. Spoilers, man, we haven't played that one yet. Yet the Argath encountered during the recent expedition carried himself as if he had been crowned regent. I believe this was merely the orocyte in his possession realizing his desire to rule. I am informed that he uttered the same words over and over again for the duration of the confrontation which unfolded. That's a pretty good lampshading of how voice stabs in boss fights work. If that is the case, it is possible that it was not only Argath who uttered them, but the orocyte itself. If the Durai papers are accurate, Argath was a weak and petty noble who believed that his blood entitled him to power. The orocyte took that belief and twisted it into the abomination we, Derman, put to the sword. And not even me, it was like 23 other people standing next to me. Then you're saying the crystal could prove a threat? The orocyte, Alma, and not necessarily. Ramza seems to fare well enough. There is no record of the young regent being manipulated by the artifacts he gathered. In the hands of the just, the orocyte should prove harmless, even beneficial. To paraphrase, it's not the weapon that kills, but the one who wields it. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yes, it was Emperor Galvus's justification for taking the marvels of Magitech and applying them to the manufacture of arms. Where, after all, was the harm, if it allowed him to bring order to the 3 great continents? You draw an intriguing parallel, Master Garland. The properties of these crystals are so singular, I do begin to wonder if they, like Magitech, are products of science and not nature. That they were created by someone to... But who? What manner of person would even be capable of such a feat? Sid, you want to share with the rest of the class? Now that is an interesting question, the answer to which I look forward to hearing. Regrettably, I have pressing matters to attend elsewhere. Fear not, however, Mikoto's insight will prove far more beneficial than anything I might accidentally contribute. Good day to you all. See you later, Sid. What I don't understand is... if the Duma was imprinted with Argath's deepest desires, then whose desires are rattling about inside the Odious? Yeah, probably best not to touch that. I had the self-same question, and thus conducted a thorough inspection of the crystal upon my arrival. The results were inconclusive. Traces of ethereal activity were present, but to all intents and purposes, the vessel was empty. Empty? But what of the voices I heard? Voices? I heard nothing of the sort. The only voices you heard, Alma, were in your stubborn head. Ramza, why don't you... Shall we speak of voices, then? What of yours, Alma? Our resident voice of dissent. You've done naught but question the wisdom of our search from the moment we left Garlemald. Would you put your petty worries above our family's calling? No, I would never. You would never. Then why involve a gossip monger, a goody two-shoes, and this flying mole? I was going to ask. Please tell me you can see that. Hi, Moogle. What are you doing here? How are you all taking this? How many of you know what a Moogle is and have seen one? A Moogle? And a decidedly dusty one at that. Might this be one of your acquaintances, Derman? I am beginning to wonder. You've got a much lighter colored little palm than I'm used to seeing, so you might be new. Ah, a Moogle. Yes. You're taking this very well. Most intriguing. Is it alive? I think so. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Can we keep it? I understand that impulse. Don't just stand there, get rid of the thing. You're the liberator. Liberate this vessel of that pest. Okay, Moogle, you and I might have to go outside. I don't know how theater ships usually deal with stowaways other than recruitment. I think you're an actor now.
Am I interrupting? Oh, please do go on. My acceptance into your fine troop's ranks can wait until all have said their piece, Kupo.
Guards, get this...
Montblanc. The name is Montblanc. Denizen of Dalmasca's deserts, seeker of thrills, adventurer extraordinaire. But you may call me Montblanc, Kupo.
Dalmasca has long been known as a melting pot for myriad creatures, where minor races such as the Sikh, the Banga, and the Viera might live in relative harmony with Hyur, Elizan, and others. Yet there's no record of a prominent Moogle population. There is a Moogle named Montblanc in lots of the Ivalice games, though. So, this is nice. They don't look like this, but, you know.
Most likely because we are neither prominent nor populous. My people are nomadic by nature, ever drawn to the elusive frontier and the freedom she promises, Kupo.
A Moogle?
Of course I'm a Moogle, Kupo. You'd think the adorable wings and the fluffy palm would have given it away. Now, about my admission to the Majestic.
I will allow no such thing. The Majestic is the Empire's premier theater company. We will not sully its good name by granting refuge to a fluttering ball of fur. And furthermore, how in the world did this abomination board the Prima Vista in the first place? Not a fan of the cute, huh? Oh, now you've upset it. By means of wings, were I to guess. As for his admission to our company, I do not seem to recall race, creed, or allegiance on my list of prerequisites. Do you? No, Father. Very well then. Montblanc, what is it exactly that calls you to the stage? Our stage.
What else? The Zodiac Brave story, Kupo. Never before have I witnessed something so amazing, so moving. Sitting, well, technically hovering there in the audience as the story unfolded around me, I knew I was witnessing something special, something positively transcendental, Kupo. It was then that I realized I either had to be a part of it or go to my grave a bitter and broken Moogle. Was this realization before or after you swore you simply had to become the realm's greatest marauder, Kupo?
Oh dear.
Hurdy, how did you... Perhaps you'd have more success at running away if you didn't reveal your grand designs to every other fool you happened to meet, Kupo. Was it not but 2 nights ago you took up the axe, Kupo? Now here you are professing your passion for the stage, before carving even a single notch in your haft. Do you not remember, to he who churns the butter goes the sweetest bread? But how's one to savor said buttered bread if his head is in the belly of a fearsome beast? You accuse me of giving up when I merely came to the realization that continuing would end in failure. Only through a change of course could I reach my final destination, Kupo. And what destination is that? Mubber? Are you sure it's not Geomancer? Arithmetician? Templar? Do not bother answering, Kupo. We all know you'll be singing a different tune come cockcrow.
Geomancer, Arithmetician, and Templar, by the way, are, I'm pretty sure, all playable classes in Final Fantasy Tactics. And very few other Final Fantasy games. Geomancer's shown up once or twice, but Arithmetician's a pretty unique one. Anyway.
That is where you're mistaken, Hurdy. I was destined to be a thespian. I can feel it in my fur. The role of Delita was made for me. Made for me, Kupo.
Kupo, enough! The actors in our company trained at the Empire's finest institutes. They represent the pinnacle of the profession, not only in Garlemald, but across the entire world. A vagrant bat mole like you could never hope to share a stage with such artists, let alone play the part of a hero like Delita. You yourself admitted you were too craven to face a solitary beast. How do you imagine you would fare against a pack of theater critics? Any troupe would need proof of valor before it could even consider.
Craven. Call me a cheat and call me a cur, but do not, sir, call me Craven. I accept your challenge. Slay but one foul beast by mine own hand, and the Majestic Theater Company will accept me into its ranks, Kupo.
Wait, I issued no such.
You are all here witnesses, Kupo. When I return with the head of a terrible beast in my gore-stained hands, you will be honor-bound to welcome me, Montblanc the Mummer, into the fabled ranks of the Majestic. Good day. Wonderful. What do we do now?
What do we do? We do nothing. If that bat mole wishes to throw himself on the horns of a stampeding Zo, then I'll not stand in his way. I believe the proper term of derogation is mole bat, and I should warn you, Muggles do not take kindly to those who use it. Why must you always put yourself above others, brother? Did you learn nothing from Argath's wretched example?
Montblanc would never have set off on this fool's errand had you not made the challenge. If anything befalls my brother, his blood will be on your hands.
Derman, you're the only one among us capable of locating Montblanc and preventing disaster. On behalf of my brother, I beg your assistance. Well, okay. This is not at all how I expected this skyboat visit to go. You behave yourself. I apologize. I must learn to control my anger, but sometimes it can be difficult. That's all right. You saw the poor Moogle. He won't last a day on his own. You must find him and bring him back, I beg of you. Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll look after the little one. Shortly after arriving here, I was presented with a study which suggested that consuming large quantities of honey improved brain function. The results were so compelling that I almost felt moved to try, until, that is, I saw the work had been commissioned by one of Eorzea's foremost confectioners. It made me long to return to Sharlayan. Forgive me, was there aught else you wish to ask? That's really interesting. That's like an angle. One, just kind of like a funny little observation, irrelevant to everything going on right now, but also just a fun little cultural observation that I've not really heard brought up anywhere. The fact that, like, scientific advancement in Eorzea, and I imagine especially at around a place like Ul'dah, is, like, very interwoven with commerce and kind of distorted and skewed for profitable ends by commerce, whereas in Sharlayan, a place that is just land of scholars, they would not suffer such a thing. That's a neat little detail. Anyway, tell me of the Auracite. In simple terms, I know. From what I've been able to discern, Auracite displays the uncanny ability to draw upon the will of its possessor and manipulate the formless ether into a corporeal manifestation. The resultant form can be maintained for as long as there's ether to sustain it. Principal Genomus has recently uncovered evidence which appears to corroborate my suspicion that Auracite is not a naturally occurring substance, but one created to serve a purpose, albeit a purpose I have yet to identify. I know this is mostly review, but just in case there's neat details. Tell me of the Otius. Despite being in the principal's possession for an extended period, the Otius exhibits none of the ethereal imprinting present in the Duma. In other words, the Auracite has yet to absorb any of Lord Genomus's ether. It is, for want of a better description, empty. Be that as it may, we still have no idea how it might be filled, its creators having neglected to include a removable stopper. That's a very cute observation. Tell me of the Duma. As you saw in the ruins of Lacelia, the Duma makes manifest the desires of its owner. On that occasion, Argath Thadolphus. When you defeated the would-be king, his ether was released from the Auracite and the attunement broken, rendering the crystal empty once more. Thank you for the review. However did Ramza come to be so thoroughly obnoxious? He and his sister couldn't be more different. I agree. Quite different from the Ramza I'm more familiar with. Mughals are prominent players in Evolution legend, but none of the tales mention their capacity for flight. Something lost in translation, perhaps. That is true. The Mughals in at least Final Fantasy XII walk around. They don't have wings and fly around. And I think that's true also of the Mughals in, Tactics Advanced games. I don't think they were in Tactics. I love them just pointing out these subtle differences from the source material and the appearances here. It's great. There's so many of you to talk to, but there's also a lot of people waiting for me. I'm going to go. Wait, no. I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to go.
My brother can be rather simple-minded when it comes to such matters. Thinking to impress the Warrior of Light and his companions, Montblanc would simply choose the scene of your recent exploits to prove his worth, meaning Rabadaster if I'm not mistaken.
Pardon my language, but that Ramza really is an incurable little prick, is he not? Lena, he's right here. This is awkward. How dare he speak to his sister and the Mughal in that manner? I couldn't decide which was worse, the things he said or the way the principal sat back and let him say them. But I suppose it's none of our concern. For now, let's concentrate on the task at hand, finding that Mughal before he does something we'll all regret. What say we start nearby? Pier 2, perhaps? Okay. Lead on. I'm going to leave this uncomfortable scene. Mughal! Mughal, are you out here? Montblanc? Not the Mughal I was looking for. The Falcon Porter tells us that he set a traveling blacksmith away to Yanxia, not a bell passed. And why would that be of interest to us, you ask? Because said peddler of iron and steel was seen to be carrying a bag stuffed to the brim with, and I quote, albino mole fur and purple bat wings. Oh dear.
Montblanc. Not that we'd look like that, Kupo.
Of course not. The quickest route into Dalmasca is via the One River and its western tributaries. If Montblanc is bound for Rabanaster, he'll seek passage from the Glittering Basin. Oh, didn't know there are other routes. Probably not ones I can usually make use of. Anyway, let's go wherever that is, she said. Ah, right, here. So, Montblanc? How's the hunt going? My guy? You want help? Okay. Birds, please. This Mughal doesn't know what he's doing. Cut him some slack. All right, birds? Birds? Birds, please. I said no meteors. Thank you. Montblanc. You good?
Montblanc, what were you thinking?
Have you any idea what you put your brother through?
He's been worried sick. Both Herdy and Ramsa were right all along. I'm a failure. A flop. A flailing, flapping, foppish failure, Kupo. How could I play the part of a hero if I can't even ruffle the feathers of a single measly bird? The audience would see right through me like the spineless jellyfish I am.
Now, wait, Montblanc. Not everyone can be a hero. Not even most heroes. Yes, the bards sing of the man who deals the final blow, but what of his cadre of loyal companions? Do you think Delita united Ivalice on his own? Do you think Derman here was alone when he liberated Alamigo? Definitely not. You're never alone on the battlefield. Unless you are. But not all wars are won on the front lines.
But of course they're not. Every campaign needs its brilliant architect, the mastermind who moves the pieces across the board. I, Montblanc, can be that mastermind. That was quick.
Let us not dwell on the details. The day is saved and Montblanc has escaped sans scratch or singe to show for it. We should return to the Prima Vista before our luck runs out. That's a good idea. That's so far, though. Okay, fine. We go. Whoa. Snapped right into a cutscene. That's new. Ah, dang. He's got a gun! Please, this ship is a place of peace. Release my sister, or you'll answer to me. When the cat's away... Put that damnable thing down, Ramsa. You're not helping matters. We have no quarrel with you or yours. We only seek aid in finding our leader, Bagamnan. You seek our help? You who threatened to kill my father, who stole his work and made fools of us all. Never! Silence, Ramsa. They have Alma. We'll hear what they have to say. As I said, we have no quarrel with you. We only did what was necessary to secure an audience. We surrender our weapons and offer your journal as an act of good faith. Oh, right, the gun. This is all rather a lot to digest, but your claims do coincide with what we've learned about the Orosite.
You're saying that crystal did something to our captain?
After being emptied of Argath's will, the Duma sought that of another to sate its appetite for ether.
You're saying that crystal ate our captain?
You might have to go even simpler this time, Mikoto. Not his body, no. Only his soul.
His soul?
Tell me, what in your opinion was your leader's deepest desire? What was it that he longed for above all else in the world? Why waste your breath reasoning with these lizards? They showed themselves for the beasts they are when they put a knife to your throat.
First mole bats, now lizards? This one's tongue is pure poison.
Montblanc, you have an axe. You're fine.
The boy can call us what he pleases. For our past failings, we deserve no better.
Your failings.
30 summers have come and gone, and yet not a night goes by that I do not wake and sweat at the memory. We were Fusiliers in the Dalmascan army, stationed in the royal stronghold at Nalbina.
Nalbina Fortress was reputed to be impenetrable. Its fall to the 4th Legion proved a turning point in the Imperial campaign, dealing a crushing blow to the Dalmascan morale and ultimately marking the beginning of the kingdom's end. It's cool seeing that old, style of art in here. I love it.
Bagamnan was our captain, and once it was clear the day would not be ours, Prince Rassler, commander of the garrison at Nalbina, tasked him with one final mission. Our unit was to escort His Highness's twin sister, the Princess Ashelia, away from the fortress and thence to safety. But things did not go as planned. I still remember the words she uttered as she lay dying in the captain's arms, but a stone throw from where the Garamscythe waterway drains into the sea. Even as the fog of death descended upon her, she smiled and told us, the very people who had failed her, to survive. For as long as even a single Dalmascan stood, our nation would never truly perish. But it should not have been us who survived. By failing to protect our charge, we betrayed the princess and her memory and brought shame upon our race. So yes, we are not but cold-blooded lizards, deserving of whatever scorn you deign to heap on us.
It's interesting. They're going for, a kind of alternate universe story involving the same places and characters. Because obviously, that is not how things play out in Final Fantasy XII. But these are all Final Fantasy XII characters in sort of like an alternate universe state, and where that city and world happens to exist in this one. It's neat. I think we may safely assume a deep-seated hatred towards the invaders of this homeland, coupled with self-loathing born from a sense of powerlessness. The darkness that lurks in the heart of Bagamnan is little different from that which drove Argath, the self-same emotions that were to nourish the Duma.
Stop speaking in riddles, Charlian.
She can't help it. She's saying your brave captain will eventually turn into a monster. Or rather, more of one.
Garlean lies.
What they say is true. If we do not find Bagamnan and the Duma soon, none of us are safe, present company included. Do you have any idea where he might have gone? Any at all? Oh boy. Wait, look at this. Something's been added to the final page of my journal.
Then the captain must have put it there. Only he had access to it, until we found it in the pack he left behind, that is.
Is this Dalmascan?
Indeed it is. It says Readerana.
The lighthouse. Why would he write that? And in the old man's journal, no less.
There is a place on the Valnard Sea, far to the south of Rabanastre, where the ocean tumbles into a gaping maw more than a malm across, the Readerana Cataract. Legend would have us believe that it is the entrance to the Hell of Water. Many a scholar seeking to prove otherwise has descended into the chasm, some even by airship, but not a one has returned. That's another Final Fantasy XII location. And a neat one. I'd forgotten how much Banga dialogue there is in this questline.
Do I know of Ritorana? Of course I know of Ritorana. Now, have I been there? No. Cannot say that I have, Kupo. Ritorana. If it were up to me, we'd never go near the place. You see, we desert Moogles are not, how would you say, in our element around water. All right, we cannot swim. Sink like sledgehammers we do, Kupo.
Well, all right, you guys keep flying, then, and away from the water as best you can.
We Banga live long. Any other race would think of it a blessing, but to me and mine it is a curse. More summers means more suffering. It is all true. My brothers and I were fusiliers to the royal family, and Bagamnan was our captain. We only laid down our flintlocks once we realized our failure. Ever since laying hands on the Duma, Bagamnan has acted strangely. He began speaking to the stone as if it were Prince Rassler himself. At first, my brothers and I thought it was in jest, but he continued long after he thought us all abed.
All that I know about Ritorana I learned during my lessons on Dalmascan geography, but no mention was made of Ivalician legend. While Principal Genimus seems convinced of a connection, I believe I shall reserve judgment until more is known. Is there aught else you'd like to ask of me? I think you just told me about this one, but... There is a place on the Valnard Sea, far to the south of Rabanastre, where the ocean tumbles into a gaping maw more than a malm across, the Ritorana Cataract. Legend would... you basically said all this before. Balanced on the lip of the raging gulf sits a tiny islet, atop which rises an ancient lighthouse, its origins unknown. For centuries, the tower was manned by Dalmascan candlekeeps, who labored from dusk till dawn to warn sailors of the perilous drop. Since the kingdom's annexation, however, the structure has lain vacant, assuming it had not been claimed by the island's wildlife. Man, 12's cool. It's been a while since I played it, but what a neat game. I'll have to do it on the channel someday. Tell me, is Ritorana truly as magnificent as they say? You've never been there. And there I was thinking you might have something to contribute. Boy, someone's in a mood today. Even more than normal. It appears yesterday's enemy's tomorrow's friend. But then where does that leave us today? The Banga who took us hostage were once royal fusiliers. Whatever could have driven them into this life of villainy? All right, Genimus, your turn. I must admit to knowing little of Ritorana, save that which Lady Mikoto shared with us. Before we expend valuable time and resources traveling to so remote a place, I must review my notes, see if there's any mention of the Abyss. We shall share our findings as soon as we learn aught of interest. Okay. So, how about now? Genomus and his son are ready to present their findings on Ritorana. Fantastic. You guys work fast. Did they release these quests across like a couple of patches for the second part? Or were all of these quests originally packed into the first patch that all this was released in? I don't think it was. Anyway, our studies reveal that Ritorana is the name of both a massive gap in the southern Valnard Sea and the lighthouse, once manned by the Royal Dalmascan Navy to prevent ships from succumbing to the cataract currents. I stress once manned, as the tower has lain empty since its candlekeeps abandoned their posts after the fall of Rabanastre. But if Pharaoh Sirius offers any indication of what can befall a lighthouse in the absence of its caretakers. That's an optional dungeon, by the way, near Limsa Lominsa. You know that building that I mistook for Limsa a couple of times that had a bunch of huge yellow crystals just speared right through the top of it? That's Pharaoh Sirius. That place is having a time. Optional dungeon, though. Yes, but the real question is how all this ties in with Ivalician legend. A cursory examination of the Zodiac Brave story reveals no mention of a Ritorana. Yet it seems foolish to assume that a name could not change in the centuries since the tale was writ. So I thought to cross-reference texts on modern Ilsebardan history with our translations of the Durai papers. And after an exhaustive re-examination of my ancestors' notes, I discovered that there was not a single entry on Ritorana. And while mention of the Valnard Sea was abundant, I found no reference whatsoever to any cataract or lighthouse within its waters. Ramsa's discovery prompted me to examine the mystery from a different perspective. What if there were no mystery at all? What if, at the time of Delita's rise, the chasm did not yet exist? There's more, but only a visit to the lighthouse will enable us to confirm our theories with any certainty. Sounds great. Let's go. I want to see. It is as Ramsa said. Only by visiting the lighthouse will we be able to confirm our theories. Well, all right. Let's go. The Ridarana Lighthouse lies far from civilization. You would be wise to provision for the trip here in Hingashi. An adventurer always comes prepared. Usually. No, always. Of course. Let's go. I forgot how long the stretch of story is between some of the raids in this series. It used to be a lot longer, actually. Sometime in the last year, in more recent patches, they stripped a lot of steps out of this particular quest line here. And just made them all side quests, I think. Probably for the best. The Ridarana Lighthouse. Something is very wrong here. Mayhap it's best if we split our fellowship into two parties. One to delve into the tower's depths, and one to observe from afar. As acting expedition sub-leader, I appoint you captain of the first. You may use this spyglass to aid in your search for the missing lizard. It's pronounced Banga, but okay.
Damn it, brother. Where are you?
Well, let's go have us a little look around.
Shivering. Me? My fur is simply standing on end from all of the ambient ether. Yes, ambient ether in the area. Can't you feel it, Kupo?
Are you nervous?
Don't worry, Captain. This lot are with us. They won't hurt you.
Where in the king's name are you hiding, Captain?
Well, let's go looking. This location appears to offer an adequate view. Climb up and scan the area for any signs of Bagamnan. Oh, are we gonna do some looking? We are. I see companions. Wait. You. Target sighted.
You found him. Let me see. He needs our help. Prince Rassler, Princess Ashelia, I know you cannot forgive me. Nor should you. It is all my fault. I could not save you. Could not save anyone. Anyone but myself. I am so sorry. Agamemnon! Wait! Traitors! Have you no pride? You treat with the very men who laid waste to our homeland. You are mistaken, brother. There are no Imperials here. We've come to help.
It's interesting. They're mixing in the designs of Garlean soldiers from 14, but the kind of the armored one there is a judge from Final Fantasy 12. So they're sort of like mixing and intermingling imagery from the two games. It's neat. Since it's like Garleans who are the Empire who are invading Rabanastre in this case, and not the Empire who like exists in Final Fantasy 12.
I know what I see. My own kin sided with the enemy. How dare you stay by audience with a princess?
The Duma. It has him, Kupo. It's showing him what he wants to see.
Witch! Murderess!
He's got a gun!
Gunfire.
Agamemnon! So, this is the end.
Recite the words. Satisfy the covenant. Relinquish thy soul unto me, and be granted that which thou desirest most in all the world.
Sword in hand, a warrior clutches stone to breast. Look at me, brother. Look at me! In sword etched he his fading memories. Don't you die! Not yet! In stone, his tempered skill. We promised we'd all go together when our time came. You can't leave us here. By sword attested, by stone revealed.
That light. Where have I seen it before? Oh no. Oh dear. Yeah, hello. Whatever you're doing, you need to leave the lighthouse right away. Right away, do you hear? Done and done. So, how are we all doing?
I was fully prepared to fend off the abomination when he vanished, Kupo. I dare say he took one look into my eyes and lost the will to fight.
That's probably what happened to Montblanc.
Don't you tell me he's gone. He's not. He's stronger than that. He's the strongest Banga you'll ever meet. He'll tear his way out of that Lucavi and crush it under his foot.
I believe you. There can be no doubt now. In the wrong hands, the Auracite is a danger to us all. Something must be done, and quickly. Had Bagamnan not stolen the Duma, he'd still be alive today, and we would not be faced with confronting another Lucavi. The lizard only has himself to blame. Sort of true, but still.
The captain's dead. I saw the light leave his eyes, and now we're alone. I will not believe that there's nothing left of Bagamnan in that creature. We can still save him. We can.
According to Father, the Durai papers speak of the Auracite as a holy stone, but I see nothing holy in what it did to Argath and Bagamnan. I agree. You and I are on the same page. A most interesting twist. I had assumed the Auracite would act more swiftly upon the weak-willed, but mayhap I was mistaken. Could it be that the opposite is true? That those possessed of a strong will are more susceptible to its influence, not less? There are so many questions. But we're not entirely without answers. Is there aught else you wish to know? No, I've asked about all these, but thank you.
I think my brother has had more than enough fun for one day, Kupo. Perhaps it's time for a sleep spell. All right, make it sleep 3.
Whatever it takes. It is as we feared, then. Bagamnan's soul is lost. Rough. You know what? I'm calling an audible and just splitting this episode here, because there's still more to do. So let's go ahead and just do 2 episodes for this part. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Ivalice. Take care until then, and goodbye.